How's it going, everybody? This is Alex Caceres, and you're listening to Story of the Fight.
Oh, excuse me. Well, I didn't see you. I'm just over here shining my belt, dude.
Wow, look at that.
Got the belt back home. And welcome everybody to the Story of the Fight. My name's Miro. That's my boy Will. And this is where we talk all things combat sports, mixed martial arts. You know, sometimes we put some predictions in and the belt's on the line. Ganskow, let's go. Championship shit right here. You know what I mean? Championship. Hey.
You know, some people subscribe to the thought, like, act like you've been there before, you know?
Not me. I couldn't find my shades right now. Dude, I was about to throw my shades on too, just keep them on the entire podcast. But yeah, hey, welcome everybody. This is where we talk all things mixed martial arts. Today, specifically, we're going to be covering UFC 301. Pretty big event in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. And we also had one Fight Night 22, right?
Yeah,
but before we do, Will, I want to let everybody know that we welcome all new subscribers with open arms. Like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, goes a long way. If you don't like watching, which I don't know why you wouldn't like watching, but you like listening, where can they find us, Will?
Yeah, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, YouTube Podcasts, whatever it is now. Pretty much anywhere podcasts are found. If you don't want to watch on YouTube, you can also watch on Twitter, on Twitch. We're everywhere. StoryTheFight.com will show all our social medias: Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Reddit, Twitch, everywhere. Story of the Fight. If you go to StoryTheFight.com, it'll also have our merch page. Buy a shirt, buy a hoodie. Just subscribe.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, with that being said, man, we can go and get started because we have a lot of fights to cover. A lot of fights. We're going to get started with UFC 301 and the main event. The main event, which was Alexandre Pantoja versus Steve Erceg. How'd you feel about this fight when it was first announced?
Well, when it was first announced, it was like, okay, well, obviously this wasn't, and no disrespect to Steve Erceg, but obviously this wasn't the UFC's first choice, right? They were kind of hoping Muhammad Mokaev was going to steamroll Alex Perez, and Alex Perez was like, hold up, it's not 2014 Alex Perez anymore. I'm somehow better now. And so it was kind of like a lackluster performance. And even Mokaev was like, yeah, I didn't deserve it after that. And then they're like, okay, well, I guess we'll give Erceg the title shot after he knocks out Matt Schnell. And then Mokaev was like, no, I deserve it. What the hell? How is he skipping me? And you're like, you just said, dude.
You don't deserve it.
Yeah, but then, you know, Manel Kape was supposed to be fighting probably Kai Kara-France. That fell through. And then he was supposed to be fighting. Like, there's so many fights that didn't happen. And like weird circumstances.
Promotion school, man.
Yeah,
not a very good way to promote yourself.
No, I don't deserve the title shot, and then upset when they don't give it to you. but so like, you know, there might be people more deserving than Erceg. Erceg was ranked 10. He beat Matt Schnell, knocked him out, right? But that being said, those things didn't work.
Schnell.
Yeah, so they just went down the list and found a guy they're like, this is the guy, which I'm fine with, you know. And I thought he showed out. Shout out Genevieve. Hey, let's go. We're going to be talking about one. I know there wasn't a ton of blood in the one card, but there was plenty of blood in this card. I don't know if you watched it. But yeah, I mean, what did you think going into it? I thought Pantoja would win, but I was happy that Erceg got the shot. I like Erceg. He's a fun fighter.
Yeah. Very unassuming looking guy, right? And he just doesn't necessarily look the part of a fighter. But man, he gained a lot of respect, not just from me, but I think from a lot of people yesterday watching him. Mm-hmm. I wasn't super excited about the fight. You know, I was hoping that there'd be some bigger names for the Rio de Janeiro card. Quite honestly, I was looking forward to the co-main event more after I found out it was Erceg versus Alexandre.
Yeah.
But you know, it is what it is, man. Now, when you talk about the fight, right? We have Pantoja coming out this blitzing style, dude.
Yeah, he runs at you, man.
Running at him. And at first, I feel like Erceg was like, what? Like he's coming at me like really aggressive, dude. But then I want to say it was like on the third blitz in the first round. He steps off to the side and then gives him boom, 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 3-piece combo off at an angle. And I was like, here we go, dude. We got something. We got something in this fight right now.
Well, Erceg's fights before this, he's so good with his hands and putting combinations together, and his movement's really good to land those shots, whether it's going forward or backwards. And like one of the things that really was nice to watch in this fight was his ability to strike while fading away, which is so perfect for a guy like Pantoja. Like you said, Pantoja runs at you, so if you can fade away while tossing some hooks his way. It took him a while, like you said, the first couple blitz, you could see he was trying to land the left check hook as he came in, but he was hitting him on the shoulder more than anything. He wasn't quite finding it, but eventually he did. But it's just such a cool stylistic matchup in that regard, because like if you have a guy who's good at striking moving backwards and you have a guy who's good at striking moving forwards, like
something's got to give.
A lot of fun. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of fun clashes in that. And Pantoja,
absolutely.
One of the things he does so well is he'll blitz at you landing those shots, and he can hurt you with those. But as soon as you stop moving, he's on you, and either he takes you down or he takes your back while you're standing, or you can fight it off, but he's kneeing you on the break or landing something on the break. Like he's so good at those in-between positions from striking and grappling. And I think that's like what sets him apart as a champion rather than just like a good fighter, you know? Because
Pantoja looks really wild and not very technical when he's coming in with those blitzes. Like his hands drop quite a bit, right? And he's just like swinging for the fences. But I think it's because of the fact that if he does get caught and he ends up on his back, or he ends up just getting in really close, he's just going to be able to clinch, which either way is going to play in his favor.
Yeah, 100%. Shout out HB Comer, Steve, Rocky, Carell got robbed. Yeah, a lot of people think this was a robbery. I had Pantoja winning, but it was a good fight. It was close. I think ultimately it depends on that third round and how you score that, because I had Pantoja clearly winning the first round. The second round was close, but I gave that to Erceg. He started, like you said, he started finding his hands a lot more. Third round, I gave to Pantoja. A lot of people give it to Erceg just because of the elbow that cut him. And then fourth round, Pantoja completely took it off.
Which, by the way, the elbow was beautiful, because you mentioned how like he was, when he's done with his blitz, he's there and he's within that distance where he can just clinch, right? Yeah. And nice read by Erceg where he's like, hey, he's coming in blitzing and standing right in front of me. Boom.
Yeah, and right then follows it up with that nice left hook. There's two pictures, one of the elbow and then one of the left hook in the slideshow. Rich, if you want to pop that guy up. There's the elbow. Ooh. Perfect. Split him open immediately, and there's the left hook right behind it. And
very nice.
Pantoja just eats the left hook, dude. That left hook kills people. I mean, you see the power he has against someone like other people he's fought, right?
Chanel would have been knocked out 5 times by the end of the third round.
Yeah, once when he got hit, and then
no disrespect.
Hit the mat. As
and Tanyani would be like, "Hey, just wait till you watch the replay."
Yeah, but he ate it. He ate it. He pushed through him, got him up against the fence, and immediately was holding the cut. And it's like, ooh. And then they're talking about after the third round, he's like about to throw up on the stool. Anik said he didn't. I didn't see that, but he's like, it looked like he was about to throw up. And then the fourth round, Pantoja pretty much took it off. Erceg was lighting him up. And then the fifth round, I thought Pantoja took it more so on the decision making of Erceg. Erceg choosing to engage in the grappling in that fifth round and
trying to get some takedowns of his own.
Yeah, and you just don't do that with Pantoja, dude. His his transitions are so good. HW Comer says holding someone down, doing nothing should not win fights. Primary scoring criteria is damage. Pantoja got fucked up. Yeah, but you don't score the fight as a whole. In the first round, Pantoja lit up Erceg before Erceg can really get his hands together. And I think my camera's fucking falling. I think here, talk about the fucking scoring real quick while I fix this.
Yeah, no. So what I did notice too, though, is like Erceg, when he was on his back, did have some good scrambles, right? But how much do you know how much top control Pantoja had throughout the entire fight?
8 minutes, I think, a little bit over 8 minutes. But really, the third round is what matters, in my opinion. And in that third round, yeah, he did land that damaging elbow and the left hook, but I'm pretty sure Pantoja outstruck him like 35 to like 18 or something like that in the third round. So it's like, I think the commentary also did a bad job of talking about what Pantoja was doing, because Pantoja was landing and they would just not say anything. In that third round, I mean, outside of the one elbow, which, yeah, that was the most damaging shot, but like one elbow shouldn't win you the fight when it didn't even rock the guy. Yeah. Whereas it was heavy pressure, takedowns, transitions, back takes, and big punches from Pantoja. More big punches than Erceg in that third round. Actually, you can listen nice and personal. Hopefully that camera might slide a few times. It's a new setup.
Yeah.
Ganskov says,
HB Homer appreciates the high definition, though, to see your beautiful face, Will.
Yeah, new camera. Ganskov, isn't the first rule actually listed as affecting striking and grappling and not damage? I think damage is the ultimate criteria, but
yes.
But that being said, it's not the end-all, be-all. And when effective striking and effective grappling, people will say ground control doesn't score anymore. But that's not true. Effective grappling, top control is effective grappling. And when you're taking someone's back multiple times and passing, that's effective grappling. And in that third round, not only was he more effective in grappling, he was more effective in the striking outside of that one elbow and left hook. Like, he outstruck him that round by a significant margin. But the story, the lasting impression was that elbow at the end. But that shouldn't trump, 4 minutes of Pantoja outstriking and out grappling him, in my opinion. But I'm not trying to say it wasn't close, because I mean, it was still a close round. But Pantoja, man, there's something different about champions and how they navigate through a fight. And we'll talk about that too with Aldo when we get to him. But remember when Claudia Gadelha fought Joanna for the belt, and she was like steamrolling Joanna in the first 2 rounds, and we're like, what the fuck is happening? And then Joanna was just like, no. And then she just turned it up 3, 4, and 5. Like, Pantoja knows when to pick his battles. He knows when to take round 4 off. He knows that he has to come out strong in the 5th round. He fights through exhaustion. Like, that blitzing style when he's exhausted, like, it looks really good to the judges, because if he's exhausted and he's on the back foot, that looks horrible. But if you're exhausted and you're still pushing forward despite being exhausted, like, he understands optics, I think, really well. And I think he understands that even when he's tired, does that make sense?
Yeah, no, absolutely. But, overall it was a pretty good fight. Really impressed with Erceg's ability to counter while he's moving back.
Yeah, nice
third and fourth and 5th round, while he didn't win every single round, I thought that he showcased just how clean his boxing is, man.
Dude, and his grappling is very good. Like, he got out grappled by Pantoja. Belt. Yeah, he got out grappled by Pantoja over the course of the fight. But have we ever seen somebody not get out grappled by Pantoja? Like, that doesn't mean you're bad. And I thought he held his own very well in the grappling.
He's a legit black belt. He didn't get it from a Cracker Jack box from the Nogueira brothers.
From the Nogueira,
you know what I mean? Yeah.
Speaking of Nogueira, Big Nog was there. I think does Big Nog do the Portuguese commentary? Because he was like cage side the whole fight. I don't know. He was all suited up though. He looked good. Commentary was terrible. I bet Big Nog was better. DC was at one point early. It was 3 fights in, and DC, instead of talking about the fight that was happening, he was talking about how he packed beef jerky, but he already ate it all. And you're like, what, dude? Man, DC is great for like a pre or post fight show, but dude,
I love it, man. I feel like it's a fight companion, even though it's the actual broadcast. It's so funny. Classic.
But yeah, I don't think anybody can out scramble Pantoja. Erceg hit the giggler a couple times, but Pantoja's wise to that, and he wasn't able to really do much with it. But I thought, this made me want to see the Mokaev fight more, though, because I really want to see what that heavy wrestler style, that top game wrestler style, how that clashes with Pantoja. I think that's a very interesting fight. Mokaev just needs to stop putting his foot in his mouth and win a fight and then call for a title shot instead of saying he actively doesn't deserve it.
Yeah, no, for
but
sure.
He'll probably get passed up. I think they're going to do Kai Kara France versus Manel Cap, and I think, how do you do that fight and not have the winner fight for the belt?
Winner has to fight for the belt.
Yeah,
that's a number 1 contender fight.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Yeah, you want to move on to the co-main? The People's main event?
Yeah, dude.
Oh my God, let's
Wait
do
a
it,
second.
man.
Actually, announce it, and then I got something to say right after you announce what we're talking about.
All right. Well, the co-main event, man. Hey the Hio, man. The king of Rio. Jose Aldo versus Jonathan Martinez. Jose's Aldo return, dude.
To
Oh,
Rio.
when his walkout music started, I had chills.
They got Queen
Goosebumps,
playing, and then it
chills
switches.
going up and down my body, dude. It was amazing. I
He
was
walks
so
out with the
excited to see
crown.
Jose Aldo come back. I know that there was a lot of mixed feelings from a lot of different people when it came to this fight, including Jonathan Martinez. Where Martinez was like, he's a legend, man. Why is he even coming back? Like, now I'm going to have to kick his ass. You know, like, he's one
I
of my
don't think he's
idols.
in
And I'm
this.
like, yeah.
And the flip side for me was, hey, Ramiro, I can't bet in California. Can you please place a bet for me for Jose Aldo? Because he was a plus 145 underdog. And you're like, yeah, I could do that. And I was like, all right, cool. Let me know. And then I never heard back. And plus 145 for Jose Aldo. I was like,
yeah,
dude,
I
you
don't know
have
how that was even a thing. Like, how are you going to come in plus 145 underdog in Rio? And he's been active, maybe not in mixed martial arts, but he's been boxing. It's not like he's just been sitting on the couch and he was like, you know what? I think we should go back to fighting.
Yeah, and actually, the only reason he had the fight was because he has one fight left on his deal, and he tried to box. He had a deal to box on the Netflix card under Jake Paul Tyson, and the UFC blocked it. So he was like, "Fuck." So he's like, "I guess I'll come back and fight out my contract." That's the story. But I was like, dude,
that's the story.
A lot of people thought this was a bad matchup. I thought this was like the best matchup. This is the tailor-made matchup for Jose Aldo.
For Jose.
Jose Aldo is the best at leg kick defense. When he understands the game of leg kicking to a point that he also understands the defense of leg kicking. Because in order to be a very effective offensive fighter, you have to know what your opponent's going to be doing to defend against your offense so that you can overcome that. And by learning that, you also know how to defend yourself, right? And his, like, if you watch the Pedro Munoz fight, it's not just like he understands like kickboxing leg kicks. He understands calf kicking leg kick defense. He understands like all these little things. And immediately you see Martinez go to his leg kicks because he's such a heavy leg kicker.
Mm-hmm.
You see him go to his leg kicks, and Jose Aldo checks like the second one. And the commentary booth, again, like 4 leg kicks in, we're talking about how Jose needs to start addressing these, or like he hasn't really quite got the timing of Martinez's leg kicks. And I'm like, dude, he's checked like 3 of them already. Like, what are you talking about? And then after that first round, Martinez ditched him completely. It was so like cathartic to watch that come to fruition, because I can say all those things right about Aldo, like understanding that game and all that stuff, but he's also 37. He retired. He's coming back, all this stuff. You can still understand those things, but can you actually like implement them?
Yeah.
And he was like, absolutely, I can. He looked so good.
Dude, the hooks to the body, his hands still look so fast.
His pivoting, dude.
Like, for some reason, like going into this, I'm thinking or feeling like Jose's in his 40s. He's still 37, man. He's been fighting since he was super young. We've been watching him since the WEC days, right? So for like in my mind, he's been around for 30 years.
Yeah.
But 37, dude, he still looked really good for 37. They say that the first thing to go as you continue getting older is your hand speed. Dude, he looked lightning fast.
USADA's gone, dude.
Yeah,
shout out Austin
God.
real quick. Yo, I don't know how long I can hang out in the stream today because I have a busy morning, but hope the stream's been going well, guys. I'll hang for a few minutes before I have to leave. shout out Austin. And he was so fast.
For sure, dude. Oh, dude. And Martinez looked so hesitant, to your point, after those kicks weren't landing. The rest of the round looked so hesitant. He goes to his corner, and his corner's like, you're showing him too much respect.
Yeah,
you're showing him too much respect. Go out there. And it's like, no, he's fast. Yeah. He's blocking my leg kicks. He's punching the shit out of my liver. Like, what do you want me to do, dude? Like, I don't want to get dropped. We continue going through the fight, right?
Mm-hmm.
Martinez starts getting hit even harder coming in, going to the head. Aldo had the step in knee as well as Martinez was trying to come in.
Well, not just that, the way he set up that knee, and he like opened the door for that knee by he'd go first, take a step back, knowing that Martinez was about to come out for his return, and then he'd throw the knee. Like, he'd just go jab, step back, knee. It was beautiful, dude. every single time. I was like,
That
this guy's so.
question that Austin just posted: current Aldo versus current McGregor, who wins?
I mean, current Connor's,
Juice to the gills.
what 40 pounds heavier than him. But look, I still think Aldo wins that rematch. If they did an immediate rematch, I think Aldo probably wins that fight. But McGregor was better than him that night, but I don't think McGregor was better than Aldo, period.
HLB Comer must have been reading my notes, because the last thing on here says Aldo absolutely rocks Martinez. It legit looked like Aldo chose not to finish him.
Well, yeah, I don't know if it's necessarily that, or if it's just like I'm still at the top. And because like there's certain guys, GSP, Volkanovski, Mighty Mouse, Aldo, all those guys will just work you, hurt you, and then dump you on your head. And like it's just a show of pure dominance. And it was like, oh yeah, just in case you thought I was just a striker, check this shit out. And he just fucking dumps them. I think it was a little bit of that too. I think it's a little bit of both, right? It's a little bit of like, I don't want to knock this dude out right now. Or maybe, I mean, do you think he doesn't want to knock him out? I think.
Do you think he just wants to dump him on his head and not finish him?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what it is, but what it is impressive, because it was fucking pure mixed martial arts, and I love when people can mix everything together. It reminded me of Volk versus Yair, right? Where he hurts Yair, backs him up against the fence, body shot, headshot, and then dumps, slams up. Like, it was just beautiful sequencing. And it's just Aldo understands the fucking game, dude. His pivots are insane. Like his framing, he'll hit you, he frames away. Like, he just understands positioning better than I think anybody in MMA. Still,
did this leave you wanting more?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he ever should have retired. He lost that fight to what's his name, Marab, but so does everybody. And like, it's not like he was hurt in that fight. He just got out pressured in that fight more than anything. I thought, I don't know what he does now.
I could see where he's coming from though, because he's getting up in age. He's making a second run at the title, and then to lose to Marab and feel like, oh, here we go again, man. Now I'm gonna have to take another step back.
Yeah,
do I
true.
really want to do this? I'm 36 years old, So yeah. I get it, but dude, there's still a lot left in the tank, man.
Well, yeah, I mean, he still wants to box. I think he wants to box more than anything, just because maybe the training camps are easier compared to MMA and things like that. But I think I don't know what's next for him, but it was sick to see him with the crown in the cage. Like, getting interviewed with the crown on was awesome. There's a sick ass photo they took backstage. It's in the slideshow, Rich.
Chanting, oh my god, it was so good.
Yeah, it was just fucking awesome, dude. Like, it was a great night for like legend stuff, I mean, look at this fucking picture, dude. How sick is that? Good. So fucking cool, dude. The King of Rio, dude. Come on.
Oh man.
Come on, dude.
HLB Comer says Miro was a sensitive guy. He could feel it with his heart when he was consoling him after. Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely, cool. Dude. I wanted to jump in there, HLB, and put my arm around both of them and just be like, it's okay, guys.
Yeah, it was cool. Even when DC came up, how stoked he was to talk to DC, like a legend on legend. And look at this picture, that. Dude. Pantoja, when he got the RFA belt, Aldo's there with him. And then last night, puts the crown on Pantoja. Like, come on, dude. Aldo's so cool. He's so fucking cool.
He is, man. Hey, looking a lot older, huh?
Yeah, I mean, come on. He's been in wars, dude. Dude, that's what people don't talk about. People are like, oh, he's not the featherweight GOAT. He lost to Max. He lost to all these greats when he fought them. And it's like, no, dude. He's 100% the featherweight GOAT. He's the feather. Like, this even adds. He's still adding to it somehow. It's like, dude. Like you said, it felt like we've been watching him fight for 30 years.
Was it 7 title defenses?
I think it was even more. I think it was 9.
It's crazy.
Whatever. If you count, you have to count the WEC, right? But I mean, you talked about it. You feel like he's over 40. We've been watching him fight for 30 years. Dude, the UFC, I'm pretty sure the UFC bought WEC in like 2006. I'm pretty sure it was like 2006. And then they kept fighting, right? And then I think I think it was 2010 when they like absorbed it fully. But it's like, the guy was just beating everybody. And for people to say, yeah, but he lost to Max when he faced him. He lost that's fine. That happens, People lose as they get older. but it's also insane to just be like, yeah, but he fought guys that weren't like the level that Max and Volk have fought. And it's like, dude, he fought at fucking years and years and years of main events, of 5-round camps, of championship belts where he didn't get sick before the fight. He didn't get a weird injury that cost him a fight. Like, it's so hard to have that kind of consistency for that long without something going wrong. And even if it did, he never showed it. And he's just steamrolled people. Like, he was so scary, dude. Like, how is he not the featherweight GOAT? It's crazy to me.
Yeah, dude, unfortunately, it's just those tough comparisons and conversations. And you hear it these days with like LeBron and Jordan. I know it's a totally different sport, but they're like, well, these days LeBron faces tougher competition. It's like, look, but nobody was more dominant than Jordan with the competition that he had to go up against.
Yeah, I can't speak to that,
like,
but
yeah, but the thing is, with all those same thing, man, like in his era, in his time, the folks that he was facing, he was a more dominant champion than anybody else I can think of in that division.
Yeah, I mean, Max is pretty dominant, right, in his fights. His output is so crazy. Like, his striking differential compared to the guys he was fighting is just crazy to see the numbers. But
how many title defenses does Max have? We should look it up.
I'm not sure. But Aldo is, I mean, Aldo's the king. He's the featherweight king. He goes to 135 and he's beating guys at a lower weight class even later. He's 37 years old. He fights a killer like Jonathan Martinez, and he fucking steamrolls him.
Aldo's the king of a city. I don't know. Would you consider Max the king of an entire island? I don't know.
Could be. I don't know. All I know is I'm very happy to see a vet come back and win. And this was like Aaron Judge declining the Yankees offer to extend and then breaking the single season home run record on a free agent year and becoming like the suitor for everybody. Now Jose Aldo can say, if the UFC doesn't want me to box, they're gonna because they have a matching period now that he fought out his contract. I think it's a year. So whatever offers Aldo gets, the UFC has a chance to match that. But this is about as good as you can do as a showcase as a free agent.
Yeah.
You come back and outshine somebody, put on a masterclass.
Back in the top 15 right away.
Back in the top 15 right away. People are asking, does he get a title shot off this? And you're like, what? But I don't think so. But could you imagine O'Malley versus Aldo right now? Like, I'm here for it. You're a Marab guy, man. That's crazy to hear you say that.
I know. Well, I know Marab's Mexican and everything, dude, and but yeah, dude, I'd love to watch Aldo fight for another title. Can you imagine how big that pay-per-view would be?
It'd be so sick. And just his understanding of the game, man. Like, I just want to see him fight. I don't care if it's boxing. I don't care if it's MMA. I just want to see the guy fight. Selfishly, I do wish that he would stay with the UFC, but I'm hoping they're trying to. He's going to get some big offers to box, and the UFC has that matching period. And Aldo knows that. He was he was smart with his answers about what he wants to do next. He's like, I know I'm in a very good position.
Yeah.
Very good position.
Good for him, man.
And I think he has a very good relationship with the UFC, despite them blocking him from that last boxing match. So I think things will go well.
Look, if they didn't have a good relationship, because let's be real here, I also think, well, not just that, but I also think that they wouldn't have given him a Jonathan Martinez. And no disrespect to Jonathan Martinez, but they knew this would be a good matchup for Aldo.
Yeah, true.
They didn't toss him in there with a super strong wrestler. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right. Let's move on, man. Let's move on. Congratulations to the King of Rio. We also had Anthony Smith versus Vitor Petrino.
Yeah, some of these will be quick, and this is one of them. Anthony Smith, his Orc cousin, just fought. He got a win, so he's like, all right, I got to get a win too. Orcs together strong. And Petrino comes out. I mean, he had to be the heavy favorite, right? I didn't look at the odds on this one, but I would imagine betting-wise he was the heavy favorite on this one because he's just been knocking people out.
1 and undefeated.
Yeah, knocking people out. Anthony Smith been getting knocked out. So I would imagine the odds are pretty in Petrino's favor. But Anthony Smith was like, oh, you're a power puncher? I'm just going to kick these legs out because the first few leg kicks had him hurt. And I don't know if you saw, but he lands a leg kick, and then immediately after, Petrino throws a big overhand, and then when he goes to reset, his leg completely gives out. Did you see that? I put a screenshot in it right after this. Look at him. That's him stumbling on his left leg after it got kicked, and he tried to plant on it to throw a right hand, and then he stumbles back and almost reaches down at it, and you're like, oh, interesting. And then like 5 seconds later, he shot on that takedown. So I have a feeling, and he was like limping after they kept talking about it. I think he did something to his knee off that kick.
Anthony Smith was plus 390. Vitor Petrino minus 520.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. Ganskow says
can you
Nebraska
imagine if
win.
we would have put together a little parlay
Jose
on these guys?
I can't believe you didn't bet for Jose Aldo. I was like plus 145, bet the house. But can we go back to that picture? I was at work
when we were talking about that. You should have reminded me after that.
Yeah. Petrino shoots like a lazy takedown because he probably can't drive on his leg. Anthony Smith just kind of gets the guillotine up against the fence and is like, I don't think he even thought it was a serious sub attempt. Anthony Smith, he's literally he grabs the neck and he's like looking around like, all right, like more so for position, right? And then Petrino is like, I'm going to slam this guy and lifts him up and literally goes like that. You know, when you go to lift something heavy and you like do that like shuffle real quick to like get a better grip, you know, you like get momentum and then you get more under it. He did that to Anthony Smith, basically just locking in the guillotine. Yeah, dude. And he puts him down and just Anthony Smith just chokes him out.
He's like, all right, dude, that's what we're doing.
Yeah, thank you.
Also, Bruce Buffer, a very rare L, right? Where he's like, your winner, Vitor. I'm sorry. Anthony Smith turns around. He's like, wait, no. So
Austin
funny,
says, I don't know if I've ever seen a less consistent fighter than Anthony Smith. Actually, wait, Rose nothing even exists, but he's a close second.
Yes.
Yeah. HB Comer says Smith's ego will be out of control again after this. However, I think this is more of a fraud check of Petrino rather than a showcase of how good Smith is. Yeah, I think it's a little bit of both, right? The leg kicks were good from Anthony, and I think that was a good game plan against a power puncher. But I mean, he was basically gifted a submission in this one. It was pretty hilarious to watch.
But the thing with Anthony Smith, we saw his peak already, right? When he fought for the title.
Yeah,
props to him, by the way, when he got a legally need and he decided not to go out like an Aljamain Sterling. He's like, no, if I'm going to win the title, I'm going to win the title, right?
I don't want pay-per-view points in my next fight.
Why would you want
John
that?
Jones?
Why would you want that? But I feel like Anthony Smith, after that, he's going to be one of those guys in the top 5, going to have a very hard time. I don't see very many people in the top 5 they could beat, you know, but solid gatekeeper.
Yeah, solid 15 through 7.
Yes, around there. And he's just getting older, right? His size, he's not the biggest light heavyweight in the world.
Yeah, looked a little soft in this one. Softer than usual. Ganskow says, I hope Anthony is more delusional than ever. Yeah, in the post fight, he's like, hey guys on YouTube and Instagram and in the comments, I'm not that old. And it's like, no, nobody was saying you were too old. They were just saying it's a skill thing more than
you're getting outskilled.
Than an age thing. It's so funny, dude. All respect to Anthony Smith. I think the guy's fun. But yeah.
Yeah, and he actually does a really good job as an analyst too.
He's a smart dude.
Well spoken, very good job as an analyst. He has a bright future ahead of him.
Yeah, awesome. Smith has all the tools and knowledge to make a real champ run, but his fight IQ is like remarkably bad and usually causes him to lose. Yeah.
He said he could stand with Pereira. Oh my God, yeah.
They all say
I saw that too, where he was like lightning in the bottle. You know, he's just caught lightning in the bottle, blah blah. I'm like
6 times now.
Dude, come on, man. Come on.
He just keeps catching that lightning, man. The luckiest guy in the world.
Let's move on to the next one. This one's gonna be pretty fast as well. We had Michel Pereira versus Ihor Potieria.
Yeah, in the spirit of Shogun. We had
Spirit of Shogun, yes. So we'll go ahead into that in just a second. But Michel Pereira showing he is still a wild man. When he's first walking out, there's not a bunch of dancing or anything like that. So you're like, oh, this is a serious Michel Pereira. Like, we're going to see a technical fight here. Super serious. Like, he's showing the evolution of Michel Pereira, right? And then they get into the fight, right? He drops Potieria with the left.
He's off a kick, right?
Yeah. There it is. He threatens, gets a leg, tosses it off to the side, and you think, okay, he's going to go down with ground and pound. He's like, nope. Turns around. Backflip.
Oh, my God, dude.
On the way down, the knee and shin land on Potieria's side of the head, which is illegal. Look, dude, such good shots. Look right there.
Super illegal, dude.
And then after that, lands a gilly, dude.
Doesn't it land the gilly? He just lets Potieria get up and then just grabs his neck and chokes him out cold.
Yeah. And then Potieria taps.
Yeah.
He lets him go. And Potieria's still out.
Yeah.
Still out.
Because you see him wake up. He's laying there on the ground and he goes, like, shakes up when he wakes up.
Like his soul came back into his body.
Yeah. Gansko says Shogun should have jumped in the cage and danced on his grave. Look, because Shogun's retirement fight was against Potieria. Potieria knocks him out and then does like a Fortnite dance over his body. And I'm like, fuck this guy. I'll forever hate this guy now. Because Shogun's my fucking favorite. And then they induct Shogun into the Hall of Fame, someone who is known for, in his Pride days, jumping over people's legs and stomping on their heads. And then the spirit of Shogun lives on through Michel Pereira, who backflips over the guard and knees him in the head on the ground. HLB Comer says, what we learned is that it's totally okay to throw illegal strikes. You just have to do something crazy before.
Dude, and it totally made me think of the Dave Chappelle meme that's going around where he's like, did he do it? Yeah, but, you know, like, because when they were like, oh, they're talking about it on the outside of the cage. I don't know if Michel Pereira knows that this is going on right now. In my head, I'm like, please just let this go. Please just let it go because this is so awesome.
It's the right call to call this like either a no contest or a DQ, but
no, it's not.
It is the correct call. If you break the rules, you break the rules. But that being said,
no. But look,
it was very cool.
Go back, Rich, to where the knee lands. No, where the knee lands.
And they just look so funny.
Right.
It's just
okay, so look, it's more like shoulder-ish.
No.
You know, like
the
shin, shoulder, and
nope.
No, dude, look.
If Potieria had his knee on the ground and he was up against the fence, and Michel Pereira was standing above him and he kneed him in the neck, they would call that.
I don't see it. I just don't see it. Hey,
look,
I give it a Michel Pereira.
It was hilarious. I don't really care, but if he did this against somebody that I liked, I'd be furious right now. But because he did it to the guy that did Shogun like that, I'm all for it. I'm okay with it.
Oh, 100%.
That being said, the fact that this happened after Shogun's induction is just fucking perfect, dude. So funny.
So good. A shout out Colleen says, looked like a slight seizure.
Yeah, when he woke up, jolted.
Yeah, it's a scary sight. But I'd much rather see it after being choked out than somebody being knocked out like Bryce Mitchell, was it? That had somewhat of a seizure.
That was
the
scary.
camera was like, just panned away after he started shaking.
That was really
a little bit.
Scary.
That was super scary. Ganskel says, I'm with Romero. Thank you, Ganskel. Look, dude, I'm not a champion for no reason, okay? When I say that was a fine call, it was a fine call. We'll just go with that, dude. We'll just go with that. All right, let's move on here. We had Borralho versus Craig in the fight before that.
Yeah, your boy, Paul Craig.
The Bear Jew, dude.
The Bear Jew. Look, face paint aside.
They both had the face paint.
Yeah, very cool. You got to match them.
Yeah.
You got to match them.
Yeah, matching energy right away.
Because the face-offs are the only thing.
Borralho's a free spirit. You got to remember that, okay?
Yeah, and if you forget it, just look at him.
It's on his neck.
Yeah.
Because he's going to fight or die. I'm telling you right now.
Yeah, he looks like somebody just drew on him with a Sharpie and just wrote a couple phrases on him. But that's a true
passed out at a sleepover.
Yeah, dude.
Oh, Lord.
Meanwhile, Paul Craig's out there fighting like he's sleepwalking at a sleepover, dude, because, it's infuriating to watch him just throw these lazy kicks with his hands down and chin up and just repeatedly get countered. And then the most infuriating thing, the round ends, he goes back to the corner and they're like, hey, man, the kicks are money. Keep throwing those kicks. And you're like, he's getting lit up every single time he throws a kick. What are you talking about? And then he goes out there and he throws a bunch of lazy kicks again and he gets lit up again. And then he gets knocked out. And you're like, what is happening?
Lazy kicks, lazy punches. We know that he's throwing strikes to try to close the distance and clinch. Probably jump the guard. But the problem is that every time he was throwing one of these lazy strikes, Borralho was stepping in some cases jumping in with a hard jab, hard left. Dude, it was tough to watch.
Yeah,
extended combo from Borralho was thing of beauty, man.
Yeah.
To Craig, I mean, just learns to stop as in and
Yeah.
to watch as a Beardy fan.
I don't know if it's on my side, but I couldn't understand a word you just said. It's like super glitchy. I'm not sure if it's on my side or if it's just if everybody heard it like that or if it's just me, but I hope it's not me. I guess I hope it's not the show either. But you sound good now. I can hear you.
All right, good.
But yeah, the step in elbow and the follow once okay, Jimmy says this on here too.
Okay, it's glitchy.
But
My bad,
it's solid now. It's solid now. But yeah, Borralho is once he started extending his combinations and he really pushed him back to the fence with combinations, it was like, oh, this is a wrap, dude. Because like you said, he was jumping in with those shots while he was kicking, and it was like one at a time kind of, and just knocking his head back. But then once he started putting together his hands, it's like, no, dude, this is not good. And Paul Craig tried to get that shot in. He shot for a takedown, and it's like, oh, the takedowns are still just as bad as the striking. It's like the guy's so good on the ground. I want to watch him grapple, but it just
think about the fights that
dude.
he's gotten though, where and I'm not saying he's getting lucky at all, right? Because he still lands some of these submissions, but in some cases,
it's not. Usually the follow up,
like your plan shouldn't be like, hey, I'm gonna get beat up until they get caught in a position where I can sub them.
If you look at the Ankalaev fight, the Krylov fight, the Jamal Hill fight, where he subbed all those guys, it's like he's getting lit up before that. Like he was almost out from the ground and pound from guard from Nikita Krylov before he got him. Like,
yep.
Yeah, it sucks because I really like the guy. I think he's hilarious too. And his jiu-jitsu is really fun to watch. It's just
one of my favorite pictures is still or videos is of him and Jamal Hill. Jamal Hill with like a cast on his arm after he had it broken from the bear Jew, and they're both like dancing to EDM music, like lights in the background. They're just like both getting down, dude. Like it's so awesome. He was like,
I love the guy. And for that reason,
says, I think he switched gyms recently. Well, he didn't switch his fighting style very much because he's still trying to get beat up to land a submission, dude. It's tough.
Yeah, it's tough. I don't want to see him fight anymore, if I'm being honest. And I'm a fan. And the reason I say that is because I'm a fan. I just don't want to see it.
It's because you care.
Get him some grappling tournaments. I'd love to see him in karate combat. That'd be fun. But yeah, it's not going to work here.
All right.
It's not going to work.
Well, let's move on to Joanderson Brito versus Jack Shore.
Yeah, this will be another quick one. This one, I don't know if Genevieve saw it, but she would love this one.
I don't know if Genevieve loves just like all bloody fights in general, or whether it's just like when it's like the face that's all bloodied up, or
I think she loves it all, dude. This fight, I mean, there's not much to talk about in this fight. Jack Shore comes back. They took a piece from his bone. They put it in his hand because it was a real bad injury. He's been gone forever. Brito's a tough fight to come back to. Graphic content warning on this slideshow. So
this might be the first time we give a warning before we put the picture up. Good job.
I know. Yeah, we've got to get better at that. But Brito is lighting up the legs of Jack Shore. Jack Shore's doing a good job fighting up his back foot. They're clinching up against the fence a lot, but the leg kicks are really the story of the fight. And eventually, Jack Shore's doing the right thing. He's turning his knee out. Brito just doesn't give a fuck, and he's just fine going shin to shin on him, and eventually puts a hole in his fucking leg. That was crazy. And immediately, it's pouring blood. It opens up. They show the slow-mo of the kick. It lands on the shin, and as he's pulling his leg back from the kick, it's already starting to bleed. And you're like, oh, that's bad. And
the commentators too, they're like, we just got a close-up of this. It's disgusting.
Yeah. They eventually stop it for the doctor to come look at it.
That's the one right there, right?
Like, yeah, that's the kick right there. That opens it up. And then the next shot, here it comes. Get ready.
Oh, just gushing.
It's quick too. It happens fast. I don't know if I put the picture that's the close-up. Where you can see the hole in his leg. I'm not sure if it's in there. I don't think I did. But there's a hole in his leg. And the doctor.
The worst part was the doctor, man, when he's like sticking his thumb in there. And
look at the
Colleen didn't the doctor stick his finger in there? Yes. And like he's like at that point the finger's in there, and he looks up at the ref like, nope.
We can't
go in there.
We can't let this go.
I could feel the crack. He's like,
yeah.
It's so disgusting.
props to Jack Shore. He didn't want it to end, obviously, because he's fully conscious and he's like, I can still fight. But man, that was a doozy because it was super swollen before that. That whole left side of his shin was super swollen and it just opened up. And yeah, dude, that's going to be a tough flight back to Wales, dude. That's real bad. Austin says, look, remember when Weidman broke his leg or Estela Nunes broke her arm? Those left me nauseous than this did. The blood squirting out got me weak. Got to feel for Jack, though. Left me less nauseous than this one did. Dude, because when it started bleeding, it was like they turned a tap on. Like, it was nonstop. It wasn't just like a trickle. Ganscott says, doctors did the same thing to me when I had a huge cut like that. Just fucking get in there, dude.
It should be cool. We're a family show, but that made me laugh out loud.
Yeah. Tom Aspinall, brought to you by Tom Aspinall. That comment.
So funny.
But yeah, good win for Brito. The leg kicks were devastating, clearly. And a tough go for Jack Shore, dude. That's a scary one too. It's tough to come back from stuff like that. Luke Rockhold had a lot of issues with that. Ended up having to get a skin graft on his shin. And then he had to wear sleeves when he was kicking. It's a nightmare. So hopefully it's not a big deal for him.
All right, man. We're going to start skipping some more fights here for the sake of time because we will still be covering one fight.
Yeah, we still have a whole other fucking event to cover.
But we had a Brener versus Orolbai.
Fun fight. This was the one I was looking forward to the most outside of the Aldo fight. Matchup-wise. Myktybek, Orolbai versus Elves, Brener. Orolbai. These guys are so good. And it was such a fun fight. Orolbai's coming out of Team Alpha Male now. And he's just
international Team Alpha Male.
Yeah, no longer just California. It's China.
No.
It's wherever Orolbai's from. Where's he from? Kazakhstan or something? But he catches Elvis Brener early with that left hook up against the fence and immediately shoots a takedown. Look, there's some people who throw hands to set up takedowns, and it's just like show something so that they get their hands up and I can shoot in. There's others who throw those hands to set something up, but they are still trying to land with those hands. But it's still just a setup. So Orolbai cracks him and still goes in on that takedown, even though he's clearly hurt, because he's like, the whole point of this was the takedown, not to hurt him. Like
Kyrgyzstan, by the way.
Kyrgyzstan, there we go. Team Alpha Male, obviously Kyrgyzstan. I should have known that. But yeah, I mean, the takedown off the shot against the fence was sick. He gets him down. Insane scrambles from Elvis Brener.
Yep.
I got some screenshots that we can walk through, Rich, if we want to go in tandem on this one. So here we go. Here's the takedown from Brener. He gets him down, or from Orolbai, sorry. He takes him down. The next shot, he's controlling the hips, but Brener gets his hips out. He turns here to, can we go back one real quick, Rich? He turns here to go for the omoplata, but if you look, it's pretty blurry because ESPN sucks. But he turns, gets his feet on the fence, and he hooks that leg from Orolbai's right leg. You can see the glove of Brener there. If we go to the next picture, you see he has that leg there. He's on the leg. He's also has the omoplata. If you look at his left leg, it's over the shoulder of Orolbai. He puts his other foot on the fence to flip him over. He flips him over. Orolbai stays on top, but Brener here has the leg still from Orolbai. He kept that leg the whole time. He swept him. So now, if you go to the next picture, he uses that, and you can see now that foot over the hip of Orolbai. That's his foot. So he's using that foot to pull him up, take away his base. He plants with his right hand. He posts with his right hand, and he tries to stand up. If we go to the next picture, he stands up, shucks Orolbai off of him. Orolbai face plants, and then he tries to jump on him to follow through. Orolbai tries to stand up. Brener says, "No, I'm running right through you." Runs through him. Ends up in his guard, open guard. But Orolbai uses his left butterfly to hook the leg of Brener to try to sweep him. But then Brener uses that to hop over the other leg into side control. So he ends up in side control. You're like, this is fucking awesome. And then if we go to the next picture, Orolbai's able to turn into him, start to wrestle up, gets that whizzer, wrestles up, as the camera slowly slides down on me. But he wrestles up. The next picture, Rich, puts his post down, stands up. Brener controls him, takes his back, and then drags him down. Orolbai's like, oh, shit. I don't want to give up my hooks. So then he hooks the leg of Brener because he doesn't want him to get the hooks. And then he uses that hook on his leg to then turn into him. And then he wrestles him up. And you're like, what the fuck was that sequence? It was so sick. Because it's a takedown from Orolbai that Brener turns to an omoplata off the fence to flip him over, wrestle him back down, and then Orolbai tries to sweep him, puts him into side control, and then wrestles up from side control. And it happened within like 10 seconds. It was fucking awesome. I don't know if that was anything entertaining whatsoever to go through those pictures and have me explain slowly what's happening, but it was very
That
fun.
was like the last 10 seconds of an NBA game where it was 10 seconds, but it took 5 minutes.
Yeah, dude, it was crazy, dude. It was crazy. But then, they go to war. Brener's defensive grappling is so good, but it's still so exhausting. So he's just completely gassed. Orolbai is just fucking cracking him. And then Brener comes out at the end of the second round and mounts him. And then that momentum shifts into the third round.
Yes, finishes with some ground and pound.
Finishes with some ground and pound in the second. Third round opens up, and Brener's just like reinvigorated. But then he gasses, and then
he's like, "Oh, that's right, I was tired."
Yeah, and he's like, "I only had like 2 minutes," and then Orolbai point deduction.
Third round, Brener going for the takedown. Orolbai grabs the fence, immediate point deduction.
Yeah, no break in the action.
Thoughts?
I like it.
You
Hold
like
them
it?
Fucking accountable, dude. You cannot do that. Cannot do that. And it stopped.
I like it, but I need consistency with it, right?
Yeah.
And the other thing I'm wondering is if it were Brener that would have grabbed the fence in Brazil, do you think he would have gotten an immediate point deduction?
No. But I do like the point deduction. I think fence grabs are the most egregious because there's no accidental fence grabs. Eye pokes happen, nut shots happen, knees to the grounded head, whatever. Fence grabs are 100% intentional, and it changes the trajectory of a fight in a big way. Even if it doesn't stop the takedown, now it's a different takedown of what it should have been. The position might end differently. But yeah, you take a point. Usually you either take a point or you give the position. He was like, you could have both. And then, I thought this was going to be a draw until the last 45 seconds when Brener was completely out of gas and Orolbai was still landing on him, and then he dropped him at the end. And I was like, never mind. That's 3 rounds for Orolbai, despite the point.
Dropped him hard too.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Good fight.
Good fight.
And then the last one we're going to cover in UFC 300 is Ruffy versus Mullarkey.
Yeah, this will be a quick one too. Ruffy is somebody to watch. If you don't know who he is, you should
Mauricio.
Now, because that guy is a sharpshooter. His straight hitting was something to watch, man. It was so much fun.
And it's so funny because my very first note that I had put in here was Ruffy's stance reminds me of McGregor's. And then literally like 30 seconds later, Dean Thomas comes on and makes that comparison to McGregor. And I was like, dude, I fucking saw it right away. But he has kind of like that little wide karate stance, right? Where he has his left arm out and his right arm back here and hit the wide leg stance just to be able to jump in and out. But the precision in the strikes, so good, man. So precise. He has stiff jabs. The distance management.
Yeah. Well, because as he's stepping back, he's framing. And it's just like he's hopping back and to an angle. He's not just going straight backwards. Like he understands the striking game, man. He really does. He's a straight up sharpshooter. He's a sniper, dude. I really, really like this guy. And Mullarkey's tough as nails, dude. And he just fucking cut straight through him. Yeah,
man. A little too tough for his own good, dude. At the very end there, he gets rocked. He's out of it, man. And he's getting beat up and we have Beltran that's just like, oh, wait, it looks like he's getting back up. And in reality, it looked like Mullarkey more than anything was like trying to figure out what was going on. Like he's down on all fours and he sits up and he looks up and he gets
on the ground right now.
Yeah, he gets clocked again. And Beltran's like, oh, no, he's standing back up. He's fine again. And he stands back up just to put his arms out, turn his head, and try to walk away.
And still get
saying
hit.
Like, no more. Yeah, and still get hit. And then finally, Beltran was like, oh, I need to stop this thing. Jumped in, stopped it, but amazing performance, man. What a performance from Mauricio Ruffy.
Very, very good. Whatever it is, you guys are someone to watch.
Absolutely. And then I like that they all have those nerd glasses on.
Yeah, he put when Borralho put it on DC, and DC's like, my teammate.
Love it, dude. All right, man. Those are all the fights we're going to cover. What about moment of silence, Will?
Yeah, real quick. Austin says Bruce Buffer talking about the Bruce Buffer mistake. Yeah, he said Petrino. That was hilarious. Like, I'm sorry. Very funny. But yeah, moment of silence. What do we have that got canceled from this card? We had John Silva versus Gomes. Michel Pereira was originally supposed to fight Muradov. Muradov pulled out, and the UFC was like, "You're done," and they cut him, so he's gone. And then Gomes was the one that they're supposed to fight at 145, so he could get 146, right? But instead, he weighed in at 143, and he could barely walk up to the scale, and he could barely walk off the scale, and they canceled the fight. Thank God they canceled the fight because, yeah, you don't let that continue. I was kind of worried that they were going to let that fight happen regardless. But yeah, you don't take any chances with shit like that. We just had a boxer die, by the way, a couple weeks ago, who got knocked out, flatlined in training the week leading up to the fight, and they still let him fight. And then he died after this fight. So you got to take precautions with shit like that.
Yeah.
And I'm glad
Anthony was saying Jamie got roofied. I see what you did there, dude.
Yeah, I see what you did there. You talk about the Gomes weigh-in. Yeah, it was bad, dude. It was scary. One of the worst ones I've seen in a long time. I'm so happy that they didn't let that fight happen. And that was one of the fights I was looking forward to the most. Silva's a hot prospect. Gomes is pretty sharp. But yeah, you can't let that happen. What happened there? Was it a conversion issue? kg to pounds or something? Because he's from France. And how do you cut weight to 143? What happened?
It's crazy.
Like, I don't know. I want to know the full story there. I don't know. I haven't seen anybody talk about what actually happened. Did they accidentally cut? Did they do the conversion wrong? What the fuck? That shouldn't happen at this level.
Yeah. All right, and then bonuses.
Bonuses. There was no fight of the night, which is kind of crazy to me. Michel Pereira got one for his illegal knee to guillotine in honor of.
I love it. I love it. You should have gotten all the bonuses.
Yeah, Borralho got one for knocking out the Bear Jew. Ruffy got one for knocking out Mullarkey. And then Costa got one. We didn't talk about that, but leg kick TKOs are always fun. It was a fun fight.
There we go.
But yeah, I mean, no fight of the night. I thought Aldo probably could have deserved a bonus, and they're like, "No, dude, he's out of his contract. He's dead."
Yeah, he's out of shit. A lot of $2K.
Yeah, I'm not sure what you said. It went real glitchy again. But the other bonus was Shogun, my boy. My boy Shogun got the fucking induction to the Hall of Fame. And that was cool as fuck. Look at this guy, dude. 23 years old, winning the 2005 Grand Prix in Pride. One of the best achievements in combat sports history, in my opinion, is that tournament. And he came through. It was so fucking cool. So it was very cool to see him get inducted. He's now got a fight in the Hall of Fame, and he's in the Hall of Fame. And I think the induction ceremony is going to be him and Wanderlei together, both getting inducted, which is so fucking cool, dude. So cool.
Awesome. All right. Are we covering next 2 fights?
I'm not sure what just said there because it's pretty glitchy again.
Glitchy?
Yeah, still pretty glitchy. But we should probably not start talking about this till we get you back. Let's go to the chat. Austin says another example of why one's weight cutting system is infinitely better. We need to fully stop these athletes from destroying. Looks like Romero, you're back smooth again. Long-term help. Yeah, the hydration testing is nice. I know some people say it's not effective, but it is clearly better than doing nothing, in my opinion. But yeah, looks like Romero's back. You look smooth now.
Am I back?
Oh yeah, sound good,
dude. I don't know what it is. I'm hardwired in. You know, I don't know.
Sometimes
all right.
The internet does stuff.
The interwebs, yes. So next we're going to cover UFC Fight Night 22. UFC Fight Night 22.
No, we're actually this one is going to be one
fight night. I'm sorry, one Fight Night 22. That was not due to the interwebs. That was due to me messing up. But it's one Fight Night 22. Sorry, one Fight Night 22. How many fights are we going to cover on that one, Will?
Yeah, but the same amount we covered for
7?
the UFC.
About 7 fights. Holy smokes, man!
I know we're an hour in already. Son of a bitch. Here we go.
Right, so we had the main event: Diachkova versus Sundell.
Yeah, and speaking of weight cuts, it's a perfect transition, right? Smilla lost her belt on the scales for this one. She weighed in at 126.5, and they couldn't cut more. Look, so she loses her belt. Natalia can, if she beats her, she gets the belt, but Smilla cannot win the belt in this fight. She didn't make the weight. One championship does not have a weight class above this. This is their biggest weight class. Smilla is 19, I think.
Did they say she joined it when she was 16?
Something like that. I mean, she's been there for
Insane,
a while now.
Man.
So, but like, you know, it sucks because like she's still growing. You know, I don't want to make excuses for weight cuts, but she's still growing. And in this one, yeah, I don't know. It sucks. She lost her belt. It's the right thing to do, but we can get into the fight itself. Natalia, let's go back, Rich, because there's not a ton of pictures from this fight. But Natalia comes out and is a jab machine. Her jab looked so fucking good that first round, and I was like, I wonder if the weight cut made a big difference here for Smilla. She missed weight.
Dude, I put down that look, and I haven't been watching her forever, right? But I've watched her last 3 fights, you know, and
you know who she is.
yes. And I put down that she looked sluggish, looked slow and weak compared to how I've seen her come out before.
Yeah, and like the reaction time is like slowed too. It's not just physically slower, but it's like yeah. And terrible person to be fighting in Natalia if that's the case, because Natalia's that jab was fucking lightning, dude. And she was lighting her up, closed her eye up with it. The first round ended, and I was like, this is gonna be a tough one for Smilla here. And Peter Miller, shout out Condition Nutrition. Peter Miller was talking about how it was a tough camp. This was a tough camp for her, culminating into that weigh-in or the weight cutting that was also tough. And I was like, I don't know. This might be a diminished Smilla in this fight. And hey, shout out Blunderbub woke up. My girl Natalia almost got it done.
Who woke up?
Blunderbub's partial to people who made it through one Friday fights and got onto fight nights, because I think everybody is. But
underdogs, dude.
Yeah, it's a cool story.
Yeah.
But first round ends, and it's like, man, that was a very clear round for Natalia. Smilla's got to do something. And then second round, it's looking Natalia was landing a lot in that second round too. She puts her down with that kick to the body, I think, like a front kick that knocks her off balance. She falls down. And then with literally 20 seconds left, Smilla lands a left hook to the body that hurts Natalia. She turns over up against the ropes, and Smilla just goes, bah, bah, bah. Starts landing a bunch of hooks to the head. Starts throwing the knees, puts it on her until Natalia's like turning out of the ropes, and Olivier calls it. Do you think it should have been a standing count instead of calling the fight?
I don't know. I think that the way that she was leaning outside of the ropes, and even after he like pushed Sundell off, she was still leaning off over the ropes. He must have seen something. Is that her corner, by the way?
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe her corner was like, "Yo."
Could be. I think turning out of the ropes, I think that's a bad sign. I think if she took taking a knee in that position was probably the best move strategically.
Yes.
Get the count, recover a little bit. There was only like 10 seconds left in the fight at that point. No, they called it at 2:59. There was 1 second left. So if she took a knee, she would have got to the next round. A whole nother story. But I also can say that having not taken a liver shot and a bunch of knees and a bunch of punches, feeling like you can't escape. So I don't blame her or anything like that. But that's Smilla outdogging somebody right at the end after losing. I honestly didn't think Smilla was good. After that first round. I was like, this is gonna be a tough night for Smilla. And
I thought
you could see it if you go back that picture. Look at her face.
That's some champion's heart there, though, and you like to see that, right, from a champion. At what point do they face like severe adversity and show that they still got that dog in them and they're able to get out of it? And in this case,
at 19.
Yeah, Sundell Smilla wasn't dropped, but she looked so sluggish in there, man. And that 1-2 for Diachkova was landing consistently.
Yeah, very good.
Smilla started wearing it on her face. But dude, the way that she threw that combo at the end, and I think she knew it too. I think she knew this isn't my night, right? Because when she throws a jab, she comes in with that overhand right, and when she hit her to the body, the way that she just unloaded. As soon as she saw that, she hurt her to the body. She's like, there's no like other out of this fight other than this right now. Like, I need to finish this now. And that was amazing.
Yeah, that was cool. Anonymous says, good kid, but she's the definition of a weight bully. She must weigh a lot when in the ring. I disagree because there's no weight class above her to fight in. And she's still growing. So, like, 3 years ago, this weight class, she was smaller than when she was fighting in this weight class than she is now, right? 2 years ago, even a year ago, even. So she's literally still growing. So I don't want to call her a weight bully when, one, she's still growing physically, and two, there is no weight class above for her to fight in for now. Chatri said they're in the works. They're going to make another division, but like for now, this is where she has to fight. She can't fight anywhere else. So I don't want to call her a weight bully necessarily because of that. As I fix my fucking camera again.
Man, the technical difficulties today have been rough, huh?
Yeah, dude. But we
All around.
power through. Hey, we're like Smilla, dude. We're just like Smilla, dude.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm ready to hang my head out of the ropes, though, just like Natalia. So,
yeah, Ganskow says, what happens now? Do they try the weight cut again? Does she have to do something different? I'd like to hear what Peter Miller says about that because he's so good at like the weight cutting process for one, to the point where when he was working with Takeru for Takeru's fight against Superlek, and then they put him in with Superlek as well. He worked with both of them to make sure they both made weight. And he was working with Smilla in this one. So he talked about how the camp, it was a weird camp, and he didn't explore into why. So I don't know if there was just something that went wrong, or if she's too big now physically, or is there something that they need to address, or did something just go wrong in the lead up? I don't know.
they just need to put the new division in. That's it.
Yeah. And that's what she wants. She's like, yeah, I want my belt back, obviously, but I also want another division. Like her call out after was calling out a new division.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
It's
too
tough,
tough,
dude.
I'm sure.
Yeah. She's
All right.
she's still growing now. She's only 19. She's only going to get bigger.
True.
Yeah.
All right. We had Abdullaev versus Amir right before that. Co-main.
Yeah, dude. Both undefeated fighters, dude. These guys are kind of staples. Hey, shout out Ganscout. Thanks for the donation. The show looks like you could use some more funding. I got a new camera, and that's the new webcam. But the tripod that I got, I think the camera's too heavy for it. So it just keeps slowly sliding down. Really frustrating. But think the $5 will go towards duct tape for me duct taping the tripod together so that it stays up.
Appreciate it.
So I appreciate that. Yeah, I think but yeah, anyways, Ali Akbari, or why did I put Ali Akbari? That's not who fought this. It's Abdullaev. Was that? I mean, that might have been from another episode. But yeah, undefeated fighters, staples in the MMA divisions for one. This was I was very excited for this fight, and the grappling that started it. Hey, shout out Rich with the Abdullaev versus Halil Amir. Grappling, heavy approach at the beginning. Fun scrambles, fun takedown defense, fun, cool little trip attempts, takedown attempts that were like crafty. I liked a lot. But the biggest thing is Abdullaev. Same thing with Pantoja, like we talked about, exiting the clinch and not just giving him a free pass when they disengage on grappling is just like the story of this one, dude. The story of this fight. I think that left hook that he landed from like below his waist was so fucking cool, because you think you're safe in those positions as you like disengage and you circle out, right?
Yep.
But there's some guys that don't let you out. They close that door on you. And that's basically what happened in this one. This shit was so sick.
Yeah, and I think it just goes to show too is just like how concerned Amir was about the takedown, that when they broke from the clinch, he almost seemed relieved. Like, okay, like I'm gonna be able to get some room
now
here.
I can start.
Let me reset. Yeah. And so like he backs off and then boom, gets caught with that left hook, man, that leaping left hook. And he was out to your point.
Out. There's a picture here of him on the ground with his toes curled, looking up at the gods of Lumpini.
Jeez, dude.
And it's a nasty one, man. But yeah, that left hook. Garden. I mean, look at him out there, dude.
Yeah, that's rough.
Crazy. I think it's the next picture. Big follow-up shot, big right hand there from from Abdullaev there, dude. Gnarly shot to end the fight. Herb Dean's like, damn it, dude. You didn't need to land that one.
Abdullaev, by the way, dude, just insane pressure, just stuck on him. Oh my god, look at that.
Yeah, there's the toes curled. Look at his eyes, dude.
Scary picture.
Gnarly. Stock skyrockets here for Abdullaev.
He looks like that one fighter in that what's that Russian guy's name with that messed up left eye that fights people in the shopping malls?
Magomed Sharapov. Is that his name?
Yes, that's what he reminds me of.
Not Mark. That's the beat. But yeah, Sharapov. Anonymous says, I hope he gets that Tenkai fight ASAP. Yeah, he called out Tenkai. I think that's a sick fight, dude. There's some cool MMA fights that are like on the cusp of being made, I think. HB Comer. Hey, thank you guys. Doing my part too. Maybe one day we'll get enough money to get Will's name tag back. It's there right now. Is it not? It shows for me, but it doesn't show on the stream. I don't know.
That's so funny.
Shout out HB Comer. That's a real one.
For sure.
But yeah, very, very good fight there. That was fun. And we can move on to the next one. Huh?
Yeah, we'll go to Menchikov versus Klinmi.
Simsamut, dude. He's so good, but Menchikov is my fucking boy, dude. He really is. He's like if Fedor went into Muay Thai instead of MMA. He's just like he's walking out to the basketball shorts from Ross every single time he fights. He's just not giving a. He's like, I'm here to fight, dude. I'm not here to look good.
Yeah, dude. But right off the bat, Klinmi starting off with the solid leg kicks, had combos going.
Since legit, dude. He's like, I mean, he lost to Reggie and Ursel. I think they fought twice, but he's like especially the first one was very close. The one that I remember the most, at least.
My favorite thing is punches and bunches, right? I just love when people extend combinations. Yeah. And Sinsamut kept on doing that throughout the first round.
Yeah, and that leg kick,
absolutely loved.
There like 3 leg kicks in, Dimitri was already like not stable on that thing. And I was like, oh no, it's my boy. He's getting chewed up.
But then in the second round, I feel like Menchikov did a better job of standing his ground. Where in the first round, Sinsamut was coming in with like a couple punches up top and then finishing with the leg kick as Menchikov was trying to back off because he can still extend and reach. He started standing his ground, and to your point, started landing that hook. Yeah. And Sinsamut was like, oh, dude, all right, he's starting to get tagged a little bit.
Got to mind my P's and Q's a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's tough when you have like it's hard to pitch a shutout, right? Like you think about Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder, the first fight. Tyson Fury's pitching a shutout. He's just styling on him, but he gets caught right at the end. He gets dropped. Like it's so hard to stay the course, striking like that for so long and not eventually get clipped. And Menchikov, man, he's just, I mean, he hits so fucking hard that like he can really just change the tides immediately at any moment. And here's the big shot here at the end. I mean, he's losing this fight, right? He's on his way to a loss here. He lands this jab, and then he throws a combination up against the fence, hits him to the body, hurts him to the body. Very similar to the Smilla fight, actually, the finish here. Hurts him to the body, folds him over, starts landing knees. And then there was that last one where he lands one, and he steps back, and Sinsamut's just like slowly falling down, and he's like, "Are we calling
like
this?"
a tree that's being chopped down?
Yeah,
slowly you see it like starting to lean.
Yeah, again, vicious sequence, very similar to the Smilla one, where like, look, you're getting outpointed here. You're gonna have to do something big. And when he got that opportunity, there's some people who are just finishers, man. We talked about it before. Like some fighters get finishes, and then some fighters are finishers. And when they have you, they do not let you off the hook. And Menchikov is one of those guys, man. If you watch his fight with Legatron, I mean, same thing. Like he gets chewed up a little bit, but yeah. Look at you, dude. You know,
dude, I'm trying.
Come on.
I'm trying to learn, man.
Yeah.
I'm trying to learn. I mean, as long as I stop calling it UFC 1 fight night in the beginning, I think we'll be good. You know what I mean? Baby steps, dude. Baby steps.
Hey, you got the one shirt on too. Look at you. You got merch
dude,
now, dude.
This is really comfortable too, man. It's like
dude, I'm not gonna lie. Material. You can't see it with the new camera, but with the one hoodie, their clothes are very comfortable, dude.
Yeah. Very super comfy. All right, are we moving on to the next one?
Yeah.
All right, we had we're Akimoto versus Wei.
Yeah, we're skipping a bevy. A bevy's a fucking wild man. But yeah, also Menchikov very upset that he didn't get a bonus. But yeah, Akimoto versus Wei Rui. Look, Wei's coming over from Glory. very highly touted kickboxer. Akimoto was the champ at 1. He lost the belt. Everyone's been waiting for him to fight again. He's been not getting fights. They're not booking him. They're not booking him. They try to book him against Lineker in a mixed rules fight, and he's like, no, like, let me fight for my belt again. And everyone's like, make the Haggerty fight. Like, Haggerty's the kickboxing champ now. Akimoto versus Haggerty, like, that's the fight to make. Chachi's even talking about it finally, and you're like, is Akimoto going to get a fight? And they're like, no, he's fighting this other killer from Glory before he fights the belt. And you're like, oh no. And this fight was like so high level, dude. So fucking, you could tell, like, this could be a main event. This fight could have been a main event anywhere.
Anonymous says Akimoto versus Wei Rui was a monumental robbery. How do you feel about that?
Look, I thought watching this live, I thought Akimoto got this. When they announced the winner, I was like, yeah, Akimoto got this. Title shot next, let's go. And then they announced Wei Rui winning it, and I was like, ah. And I was like, man, they're really not going to beat the allegations of Chatri hating Akimoto. Everybody thinks Chatri hates him and that's why he hasn't been given the fights, the title fights, all this stuff. But then even Chatri post-fight is like, nah. He's like, Akimoto got that one. I think we're going to do an immediate rematch. And you're like, okay, cool. Rewatching it, I can see the argument. I don't think it's like a closed case. I still think Akimoto won this one. But it was closer than I initially thought on rewatch. Wei Rui is very good at point fighting in this one. Like, really good at point fighting. There's shots that he's landing that they might not have the effect on the fighter long term, but like, he's scoring. Like, he's very good at scoring in this fight. Whereas Akimoto was landing bigger shots. The 3-2, that hook with the straight from Akimoto was so fucking good. I like the leg kicks against a power puncher, similar to Anthony Smith. I thought Akimoto won this fight. I'm glad they're going to do the rematch, I guess. If they do it, I hope they do, but Wei Rui's like, anybody who thinks I lost this fight needs to fucking read the scoring criteria, because I won that shit. And you're like, oh, damn. Yeah, on the stats for this fight on one's app, Akimoto outlanded him in every way. Yeah, I think he won. What did you think? Did you think he won?
Dude, I didn't watch that closely to where I was scoring it. But I was super impressed with Akimoto's footwork in the ring, I'll tell you that. And I felt like he landed some more of the significant strikes throughout the fight. So
yeah, I had him winning. And there's the shot of him. I was very surprised when they announced that Wei Rui won.
Oh, well, there you go. It seems like you agree then with Anonymous.
Yeah, it was a tough one.
All right.
Going back, it was closer on rewatch than I thought it was originally, but it's still, I thought, a win for Akimoto. Yeah, we can move on.
All right, we had McLaren versus who?
I fucking love Reese McLaren, dude. This dude's so sick. He's so fucking cool. He seems like a super nice guy. I love his like mentality about fighting. He was training with John Wayne Parr for a while, and he's like, I got a little too into like pure striking, and I kind of lost my way, and I need to get back into like MMA fighting. And it showed in this one, dude. He fucking outgritted this one, man, because Hu Young hits like a truck, dude, for that weight class.
He got caught early.
He got caught. Yeah, he did. I mean, twice, right? There was 2 shots that in the first round that were like, oh my God. But
dude, and great read by Mitch too, man. Mitch does such a fantastic job. And he was talking about, he's like, look, he's continues switching southpaw, and I think that's because he's looking for that lead leg, for a single leg. And literally 2 seconds later, you see McLaren go for that single leg. And so after that, I was paying attention, and every single time he switched over to the southpaw stance, he would go for that single leg over and over. And I was, God, Mitch is so
That's
good,
a good
man.
call. That's a good call. Because Rich trains, dude. He like travels and like trains with a lot of these fighters to like learn more about what they're doing and shit. Like, he's a student of the game just as much as he is a commentator.
Yeah, I love it.
And outside of that,
you hear him say that a few times throughout the fights too. Where he's like, "Yeah, I've trained with him before," and I was like, "Damn, how many people is he training with?"
Dude, if you go on his Instagram, it's just like every week he's like at some other gym somewhere with like other like guys, and he's like learning from. It's cool.
That's badass.
But yeah, Reese got tagged early, but after that, dude, his angles were working so well. Hu Young got a little bit more like methodical, or not methodical, but like a little bit more basic in his setups for his shots. Very standard, like like entries and things like that, where McLaren was able to at least get out of the way a lot more and initiate these clinching exchanges. And Hu Young's grappling defense was very good, but it's similar to like a Merab fight. Reese just had him like on like defense, where
Yeah, nonstop.
he stopped being able to get his offense off. I mean, he was still landing some shots, right? But but when you're relegated to defense, that's tough, dude. And this one, I mean, they scored the fight as a whole, so you're like, does the knockdown and like the damage he was landing in the first round, is that going to outweigh the like crazy pace from Reese throughout the rest of this fight? And I think they had this one right. HB Cover says Reese McLaren sounds like Pixar.
That's what I was laughing at right now.
So good.
It really does.
Yeah. Anonymous says Hu Young seemed confused when his tactic of just throw haymakers failed and he gassed out.
Look, but I'll give this to Hu Young because leading up until the third round, he was doing a pretty good job of not accepting being on his back, right? Like he had some good
his
scrambles.
defense was good.
But when you're doing that for 3 rounds, man, eventually he's going to catch up to you in that third round. McLaren had total top control there.
Yeah, I was worried that Reese was going to gas out, trying to force those entries too much. But man, he just stayed. The tenacity of him in this fight was just on another level, dude. It was a fun fight. I think I would have been furious about this fight if I wasn't actively rooting for Reese McLaren in such a big way. Because it's tough to watch your boy get relegated to defense when stuff like that. Look at Aldo versus Merab, right? I was so mad that whole fight. But when it's my guy doing it, I fucking love it because it's very impressive.
Yeah.
It's really impressive, dude.
That's hilarious.
Shout out Reese McLaren.
All right, man. We'll move on to the next one.
Oh, that's actually an interesting point from Anonymous. Hu Young is like a smaller Tenkai in fighting style. McLaren might have solved the Tenkai puzzle. That's actually very interesting. And if Abdullaev gets that fight against Tenkai, I would not be surprised if that fight looks very similar to this. Yeah, that's a good point.
All right. We had Bogdan Shumarov versus Legatron Runrui.
Dude. Hey, shout out Tristan of the Sitsong Pinon gym. That's his boy Runrui, Legatron. But Bogdan, talk about pressure early, dude. That first 2 minutes of the fight was just him running at Legatron and ripping to the body. He'd go right straight to the body, left hook to the liver, right overhand up top. This is the fight that people need to watch if they're like, I don't like kickboxing. And you're like, what? Why? And then there's no real reason. You show them shit like this, they're going to be like, dude, kickboxing is awesome. HB Comer says, Legatron, really? Fuck yeah, dude. Oh, man. But yeah, Legatron weathers the early storm and just talk about mid-fight adjustments, dude. One of the things you can do against a guy who's just coming at you so heavily is you just throw that intercepting knee to the body, dude. And once he found that, dude, he just kept going back to it. And it was so fucking cool, dude. Like, every time Bogdan would come in with that big overhand or big right, as he rears back for it, Legatron just steps in and fucking knees him in the gut. And you could see it was slowing him down heavily.
Blunderbuff says, let go, no clinching. That was all my notes, actually, just over and over and over again, right?
No
think it was Olivier.
Shout out Olivier.
Choke.
Yeah.
Every single time, dude.
Dude, if you watch kickboxing in one, dude, every 30 seconds is you're going to hear Olivier, no clinching. But eventually, Runrui did a great job of, like, he would step in and almost have the Muay Thai plum, like, but he wasn't actually gripping the back of the head. He would just frame with his forearms on the collarbones so that he could then throw that knee to the body. And that shit is fucking money, dude. It is so good.
Who'd you have winning this one?
I had Runrui, Legatron winning this one. Yeah, I thought Bogdan probably won the first round, if I had to guess. But then after that first round, he started slowing down. And I think that the knees were big in round 2 from Legatron. And I think that carried him through the third as well. I had.
Did you have a great picture there?
You had Bogdan winning this one or what?
Dude, I gave it to Bogdan.
Close. It was very close.
I thought he did such a good job whenever they were inside. You know, Runrui kept on dropping his hands quite a bit whenever they got close in distance. And I thought Bogdan really capitalized often in those positions. But I don't know.
This would be a cool fight to have.
I'm still getting used to watching kickboxing on a regular basis, you know?
Yeah. I love this fight, though. It was very – I did think it was close. I think first round was a clear Bogdan round. I thought second round was very clear for Legatron. I thought third round was very close. And I think that one probably could have gone either way. Austin says I gave Bogdan start of the fight, but Legatron lit him up at the end, so I gave him the overall fight. I know how you feel. I'll feel about that. Yeah, I think this fight was fucking awesome. I love this fight. Legatron's must watch, and Bogdan, I think, like you said, he had a very good fight as well. He's so aggressive, dude. He hits so hard, you could tell.
Yeah. Oh yeah. All right, man. We're gonna cover the last fight here that we're gonna talk about the last fight we're gonna cover. Sean Climaco versus Josue Cruz.
San Jose. Climaco, dude. He's from San Jose, dude. It's fucking cool. You don't get a lot of local boys in one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just doesn't happen often. So when I saw him on here, I was like, oh shit, let's go. And you got shout out Reno, shout out Daniel Compton. They all trained with him and stuff. So like when one posted, you see Daniel Compton posting about it, I'm like, oh sick. Daniel Compton was the guy, he runs CCFC. He let me do commentary for him for his fights in Santa Cruz that one time. So it was cool seeing like one of those boys like show up into one, and I was like, please let him get a win. And he comes out and they're trading the 1-2s. They're going 1-2s, and then he throws that he jabs him hard. Or was it a jab? No, he was southpaw. So it's this punch right here. It's that big left straight. Walks him back up to the ropes, and then as he bounces off the ropes, he digs with that, I think, right hand to the body.
Yeah, it was like right under the sternum.
Oh my god, dude! And it just folded him. He went down so fast. It looked like it was sped up. It was left hand. Okay, he doubled up on the left hand. Yeah, fucking awesome, dude. It just folded him, dude.
God, that must just feel like you're dying, dude. Like you get hit right underneath the sternum, all the wind gets knocked out of you. Like you probably feel your heart skip a beat, and you're just like, oh, what's going on?
If you watch when Cruz was on the ground after the fight, if you watch his leg, he's like swinging his leg around like in pain. I was like, fuck, dude. He's still feeling it like a solid like 30 seconds later. It was such a sniper shot. That left hand, southpaw left hand, to walk him back to the ropes, and then as soon as he gets in there, another southpaw left hand straight to the body. Fucking money, dude. Very cool to see a San Jose boy go out there, open the show with a first round finish. Shout out San Jose.
There we go. And that was one fight night 22.
Yeah, there was some other stuff on there that was fun, but I mean, we're an hour and a half into this show, and we're having technical issues throughout the whole damn thing.
Yeah, this was rough today, man. It was rough. Yeah. But we're here for it. We made it all the way through. What do we have to look forward to?
Oh, if you aren't excited, you better get excited. Oh, also, Abdullaev is the only one that got a bonus. I thought, Bogdan and Rui probably should have got a bonus, the two of them. I thought Climaco should have got a bonus. I thought Menshikov probably should have got one as well. Smilla would have gotten one, but she missed weight. But yeah, a little stingy on the bonuses. Yeah.
All right, there we go.
But yeah, next week we have Derek Lewis versus Nascimento.
The Knockout King, huh?
What else is on this card even, dude? Because that's a tough main event, dude. And this isn't an Apex card. They forgot and they booked an Apex main event.
As long as they have Derek Lewis, they will just have a random Apex main event fighter.
Yeah.
That they'll just be able to continue tossing out there because he's the Knockout King.
Yeah, we got Joaquin Buckley versus Ruzaboev. That's a fun fight. Alonzo Menafield versus Carlos Olberg. That's actually fun too.
Olberg. Yep.
Diego Fajeda versus Rebecca. Ooh, Bruce Leroy versus Sean Woodson. Let's go. Rebellis Despaigne versus Waldo Cortez Acosta. Hopefully Despaigne dispatches him quick like he did his last fight. Ooh, we got Slavas Claus versus Chase Hooper. Terrence McKinney's on here. Ricci versus Tisha Torres. Jake Hadley versus Charles Johnson. Jusei versus Jerry. This is a good card. Fuck it. I talk shit when we first brought it up, but this is actually a sick card. Good job, UFC.
Honestly, one of the better Apex cards that we've seen.
Yeah, very good Apex card. Blunderbub says, "Oh hey, a few guys from the Night Cancer Institute men's writing group now know about you guys because I wore your hoodie to our last meeting." Hey, shout out Blunderbub. Shout out the Night Cancer Institute.
Thank you.
Men's writing group. Very cool.
Appreciate it. Well, cool. Shay, since we're on the shout outs right now, shout out Blunderbub, Anonymous, Austin, HLB Comer coming back. Who else do we have on? Colleen. Ganskow, Genevieve.
Genevieve.
Did I get everybody?
We got donations from Ganskow and HLB Comer. Fucking appreciate
Greatly
that, dude.
appreciate it for sure.
Because we do actively lose money doing this show. So thank you.
Yes.
But it's still fun. It's still worth it.
It's a lot of fun. Yeah, but I think we got everybody there on the shoutouts.
Yeah. Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
Hey, shout out one also for the photos. I didn't do any clips for the knockouts and shit like that this time because we already had enough technical issues as it was. I didn't want to introduce another element that could potentially cause more issues. But so there's that for whatever that's worth.
Oh, and Ganskow says Buckley getting a fight at home after calling for it. So it's not at the Apex?
No, it's in St. Louis.
In St. Louis? That's right.
That's what I mean. They took an Apex fight to the road. But yeah, that's good. Buckley, and he got Ruziboev, man. That's a tough fight, dude. Did you see the video?
The video was the hoodie with peeps here in Sonora. Thank you.
The video he put out of like, yeah, I know Ruziboev is tall as fuck, but look at all this, and he has like a bunch of dudes behind him, and he's like going through. He's like, how tall are you? And he's like 6'4". How tall are you? 6'3". How tall are you? 6'2". How tall are you? And he's just going through. It's like that video of DJ Khaled where he's like, and what is this? And what is this? And what is this? And they're all just like 6'4", 6'2". And you're like, what is happening, dude?
Oh, that's hilarious, man.
There's like 9 dudes that he one by one.
I'm gonna go back and watch the Canelo fight now.
Yeah, I still didn't watch that. I probably still won't, if I'm being honest.
I'm gonna go back and watch it. You know, for the good old water cooler talk. You know what I mean?
True.
All right.
That's what boxing's still best for. That's like boxing's best thing going right now. Is it's still the water cooler topic? Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So I already gave all those shout outs. Thank you everybody for joining us. In case anybody is wondering where they can find us that you don't want to watch on YouTube, where can they find us, Will?
Yeah, everywhere. StoryOfTheFight.com will list all our social media: Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Reddit, Twitch, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, everywhere. Story of the Fight.
Absolutely.
Story of the Fight.
And for those wondering who produces this podcast, and trust me, it'd be a lot worse. It's Mr. Richard Bustos. It'd be a lot worse if it wasn't for Rich. So shout out to Mr. Rich, and thank you everybody for joining us for another week of Story of the Fight.